Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Have Your Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now, in this session, we are on Venn diagram, and we'll be looking at how to solve word problems relating to what Venn diagram. Now, without much ado, let's quickly look into it. To solve Venn diagram problem, there are two formulas we'll be looking at. The formulas are mainly due to the fact that the universal set is sometimes equal to the union between what? A and B, the union of A and B. While sometimes you'd have the universal set not being equal to A and B. The reason being that they are what? Complements in the what? Sets. You remember in our representation video, these were the two we used to represent them. And this here on my left hand side, this one is for if your universal set is equal to what? Your A union B. That is, there's no element out here. You get it? So your universal set is all of what you have in the white. On the other hand, if you have both elements in the complement and then element also in the universal, in your union of A and B, then we are going to use a different formula. So that is what we want to look at in this session. Let's quickly look at that. So for the first case, that is if our complement A union B complement is equal to 0. There is no element over there. That is if its cardinality is equal to 0. Then we say our universal set is equal to the sum of the individual sets. So we'll add A to B, and then we'll subtract their intersection. So minus their intersection. So this is it over here, minus their intersection. In other words, you can say that since our A intersection, since our A union B is equal to the universal set, then our universal set is equal to what? Your A union B. You see? And it simply means your A union B is also equal to what you have over here. You get it? Now, on the other hand, if there is something in our complement, that is, if A union B complement is not equal to 0, then our formula is going to be, it's not going to be the same thing, but then this one forms part of it. You see? So I'll write that here. And we are going to add the complement to it. So adding the complement to it, then we are going to say it's going to be our universal set is equal to A plus B. You see, it follows just as this one. So A plus B minus the intersection and then plus the complement. You get it? So these are the two formulas we would want to look at. The first one, when our universal set is equal to the union of the two sets, and hence there is no complement. But the second one, when there is a complement. You get it? So let's solve some questions and see how we can relate these two formulas. So for our first question here, it says in a class of 40 students, 25 study mathematics, 18 study English, and then 10 study both mathematics and English. And our question is, represent the above on a Venn diagram. And secondly, how many students study mathematics and then English? And then the third one says, how many students study neither maths nor English? So how do you go about this question? Before you write out your solution, or before you even go to your Venn diagram, you need to represent each by a letter, you see, and we define those letters. So this is what I'm going to write. So I'm going to say let U, you see, we know the U is for universal set, okay? So we let U be equal to the total number of students, okay? The total number of students. Now we say M be students who study mathematics. And then EB was student who study English. So we write out what we have from the question. From the question, we know that the number of U, that is the universal set, is what? 40 students. Okay, so 40 students. And then English. So the number of students, so I'll be writing it here. So the number of mathematics, as we have said, M is for mathematics. So anytime you see your M, you know what it means. So M is what? 25. And then we come to English. So the number who studied English was what? 18. That is all we have from the question. And then it says 10 study both mathematics and English. So that is mathematics and English is then going to be what? 10. So we now draw our Venn diagram. So you take your ruler, if possible, a compass, and then and a ruler and a pencil. Then you draw your Venn diagram nicely. And with that, we do our labeling. Now, this is how we label. You know your universal set has what? 40 elements. So you come here and say your universal set equals 40. You see, you are doing your major labels. Then you know the total number of students who study maths is what? 25. So you come and say number of students who study maths is 25. We have not started inside these regions yet, no. But then we want to start from the outside. Then we come and say the number of students who read English or who study English is what? We said it was 18. So now that we have our basic parameters written, we now enter into what? The circles and fill from within. Starting from within, we start with what? The intersection. So the number of students who study both is 10. You see, then that comes to mind. You said that mass was 25. So if mass is 25, this whole circle here is 25, and you have already gotten 10 out of it as intersection, then what is supposed to be here so that it adds up to 10 to give us the 25? Remember, this whole circle here is for mathematics. Also, this whole circle here is for what? English. But it happens that they have an intersection, they have something in common, you see. So after removing what they have in common, we have this portion, which adds up to this to give us 25. So we write here as what? 25 minus 10. Or you can easily write your answer over there. And you know 25 minus 10 is what? Our 15. So you write our 15 there. And same applies to this side as well. So we know this whole circle is 18, but 10 has already been taken out. So we have 10, we have 18 minus 10, which gives us an 8. So you can also choose to write your 8 directly over there without even writing this. You see, for some cases, you can choose to write your 18 minus 10, that is fine. But for simplicity sake, so that your work doesn't look so clumsy, this is what we do. Now, after all of this, we want to be able to tell if there is a complement or not. You see, so there is a complement if the union of the whole set is equal to our universal set, as we said over here. So if the union of the whole set is equal to our universal set, there is no complement. But if that is not the case, then there is a complement. So let's come here. And we said the formula is what? In this case, since it is M and E we have, then we are going to say the formula is the universal set is equal to the number of students who offer mathematics plus the number of students who study English, then minus their intersection, that is M intersection E. So if you look at it carefully, then we are going to say that 40, which represents this over here. So 40 is equal to the mathematics, that was 25 from our parameters here. So 25 plus E, which is 18, then minus the intersection, which is 10. Now you have to test and see if this is true. Now if we are to add, we are going to get 40 is equal to what? 33. And this is not true. So that is telling us that there is something over here. You see, there is an element over here that has to be the complement. So there are some students that are not reading maths nor English. They are not studying maths and English. So that should tell us that we need a complement. You see, this was just a test. So we can just clean all of this over here. But another faster way of determining is this. So you add your 15 to the 10. You see, then 15 plus 10 gives us what? A 25. So you have your 25, then plus 8. That gives you a 33. You see, which is now equal to the 40 we intend to have. You see. So what we do is we represent the complement with x. Represent the complement with x. And with that now, you are done with your Venn diagram representation. You see. Now let's go to the second part of the question. The second part of the question asked us to find the number of students who study mathematics or English. Mathematics or English. It is important you are able to tell what aspect of your Venn diagram is being asked for when it is said in English. So mathematics or English here, we mean M union E. You see, we mean M union E. So we want the number or the cardinality of this set over here. Now, how do we go about it? That is what we actually really did earlier on. So M union E is going to be equal to the number of students who offer mathematics plus the number of students who offer English, then minus their intersection. You see, so that is what we did earlier on. And that is going to be what? Number of students who offer mathematics were 25. So 25 plus number of students who offer English were 18. Then minus the intersection. The intersection was 10. So minus 10. You see, then that gives us a 33. So we conclude by saying, therefore, 33 students offer what? Mathematics or English. As simple as that. The next question said, how many students study neither mathematics nor English? And remember, that was what we represented as the x over here. So we want the value of x. We want the value of x. And how do we get that value? So since there's a complement, then we know that the universal set is equal to, so we said earlier from my introductory video that it is the number of elements in what? Since this set is math and English, so mathematics plus the number of elements you have in English, then minus their intersections, so mathematics and English, and then plus the complement, that is mathematics union English prime. You get it? And substituting our values, we have the number of elements in U. Remember from our parameters, we said the number of elements in U is given as 40. So we have 40, which is equal to the number of elements in M, or number of students who offer mathematics, 25, plus number of students who offer English, which was 18, minus the intersection, which was 10, plus the complement. We represented the complement with x. You remember that we represented it with x. So we come back here and then put that x over here. So now it is all about making x the subject. So we have 40, which is equal to All of this, as we have done earlier on, gives us a 33, then plus your x. In making x our subject, 33 moves to this side so that we have 40 minus 33, giving us what? An x. 40 minus 33 gives us a 7. So it implies that 7 students study neither. So 7 students study neither mathematics nor English. This video has been longer than I expected, and to solve more examples, I'll do it in the next lessons or videos. I do hope this was helpful. These are all new, and I would expect you to have some confusions here and there. But if we solve more examples, or if you keep going over this, you'll be able to get the concept. If this was your first video watching on the playlist, then I still do think there might be some confusions, and you can always go to the beginning of the playlist and then understand the basic things. You shouldn't just come straight to this video and then expect to understand everything, because we've looked at so many new things. Okay, we will solve more in our next lessons, and I would believe that you would get or grasp the whole concept. Okay, so I'll leave you with this last one here, which is an exercise. It says in a class of 40 students, 22 take mathematics, 18 take English, and then 10 take both subjects. It is very similar to what we just did. This one has only changed the number of students who take mathematics. Okay, so take note of that. Now it says you have to find the number of students who take only mathematics. Now, only mathematics here means this, all of this will be mathematics. But if you mean only mathematics, then it is this portion. You get it? So that is for only mathematics. And then the next one, only English, will be this portion. And the last one asks us to look for the complement. You see? So neither subject. Neither subject. So these are the answers here. And I would like you to work towards it to see if you will get them. Thank you for staying tuned, and I do believe this lesson was helpful to you. If it was, and this is your first time, you can always choose to subscribe. That is if you so do wish, so that anytime I release a video, you'll be notified as well, so that you can also learn with us. Have beyond numbers, learning maths the easy way. Bye for now.